Hey guys, how you doing? Today we're going to talk about a couple of different things. First, we're going to talk about triangle similarity criterion. And really, there are three of them. We talked about them in class the other day. We've got angle, angle. We have side, side, side. And we have side, angle, side. And so we're going to, I've got several examples here, and we're going to look at how each one of these works. So go ahead and pause the video and draw that diagram onto your notes. All right, so now that you've got it drawn, let's see if we can think about which of those three it might be. Side, 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 angle, angle, or side, angle, side. So let me just write those down again over here on the side. See what I did there? And let's talk about what we know. Well, because of vertical angles, we know these two angles are congruent. We don't know any other angles, so it's probably not going to be angle, angle. Then we might say, well, I've got a side here and an angle and another side. So chances are it's going to be side, angle, side. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to draw these two sides with different color pens. So we got the green side, that's 39, and the red side, that's 40. Now, notice in the other triangle that the two sides are the same length. And in triangle SUT, the two triangles are different lengths. So for side, angle, side to work, then the ratio of the sides, say 39 over 40, would have to equal the ratio of the other sides. So I made a mistake there. Let's see. What I really meant to write was 39 over 16 would have to equal 40 over 16. And if you use your calculator, crunch those out, they're not the same. They're close to the same, but they're not the same. So these triangles are not similar. So not similar by any of our methods. Side, 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 we don't even know this third side. And angle, angle won't work because we don't have a pair of angles. And side, angle, side doesn't work because these ratios are not equal. So these triangles are not similar. All right, here's the next set we want to talk about. Let me suggest you go ahead and pause the video and draw those triangles. Feel free to use straight edges when you draw them. So pause the video, draw those. And after you get them drawn, let's see what we know. Do we know anything about any of the angles? And I think you'll agree none of those angles are marked congruent. So we're not going to use any of the criteria that have to do with angles. All this is going to be side, 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 or nothing. So what I am going to do is I'm going to highlight the largest side in each triangle. So I've got side 84 and the side that's 14. So side CA is 84 units long, side HF is 14 units long, so I'll write a ratio 84 over 14. Next, I am going to look for the medium side length, so the one that's in the middle. I got 72 and 12. So those are going to correspond. So we'll write 72 divided by 12. And then for the last set of sides, it'll just be the two sides that aren't marked. So those are the short sides. And so 48 divided by 8. And so what we want to know is what those three ratios are. So take a moment, use your calculator, and do those divisions. 84 divided by 14, 72 divided by 12, and 48 divided by 8. All right, so hopefully you've done that division, and each one of these is 6. So since all three of those ratios are equivalent, then these triangles are similar. So now let's see if we can get our similarity. Which side corresponds to side C? Well, side C is where the long leg and the short leg intersect. So in triangle HGF, the long leg and the short leg intersect at F. So we'll say triangle F. And then the angle that corresponds to B will be G, and the angle that corresponds to A will be H. So triangle CBA is similar to triangle FGH, and the reason they're similar is side, side, side. These three ratios all being equivalent. All right, in this next diagram, go ahead and pause the video and use a straight edge and draw that diagram. After having drawn it, let's see what we can come up with. Hopefully you see we've got a pair of vertical angles. And then not only do we have a pair of vertical angles, but we have a pair of sides making up those angles. So if this is going to be, these are going to be similar, it will be due to side angle side. So let's take the long side from triangle VUT, that would be the 49 degree or 49 length, and divide it by the long side of triangle MLV, so that'll be 14. And then we'll check the short side from triangle TUV, and that's 28, and divide it by the short side from triangle MLV. So do that math, 49 divided by 14, and then also do 28 divided by 8. And in each case, we get 3.5. So since those ratios are equivalent, these triangles are similar by side angle side. Now let's see if we can write the similarity. Angle V corresponds to angle V. So we've got triangle V, and then U is going to correspond with L, and T is going to correspond with M. So triangle VUT, this one corresponds to triangle VLM, this one. All right, take a moment and sketch those two triangles. As you're sketching them, see if you see anything that looks useful. Notice we don't have any side measurements at all. So what that tells us is side, side, side is off the table. Side, angle, side also off the table. And so can we show that two pairs of angles are congruent? Well, I think you will agree that angle T is congruent to angle J because of the one red slash, and that angle U is congruent to angle K because of the two marks. So indeed, we have angle, angle, and triangle JKL is similar to triangle TUV. So notice that angle T and J have one mark in them, so they correspond. Angle U and K have two marks in them, so they correspond. And then angle L and V have no marks, so those correspond. Okay, go ahead and draw this one. After you get it drawn, let's talk a little bit. So I'll notice as I'm looking at this one, I also don't see any side measurements. So that means the only thing it could be, sorry about that, the only thing it could be would be angle, angle. So let's see if we can make angle, angle happen. Well, down here I got an angle with 1 mark, but I don't see any other angles with 1 mark. Here's an angle with 2 marks. No other angles with 2 marks. Here is an angle with 3 marks, but I don't see any other angles with 3 marks. And then here are some vertical angles, so I'll mark that with 4 marks. So I've definitely got a pair of angles congruent because of the vertical angles, but I don't see another pair anywhere. So on this one, we're going to say not similar. And let's do one more. Go ahead and draw those figures. After you get them drawn, let's talk a little bit. In fact, I am going to redraw the small one so that it's oriented like the big one. That's beautiful. I'm going to try again. All right, so I've redrawn triangle SQR off to the side, and now it's oriented like triangle VTU. I think it's easier to see the sides that correspond when you have them facing the same way. So what side corresponds to the 84 length side? Yeah, that'll be side SR, so that means 84 divided by 30 will be our one of the ratios we're interested in. And then when we take 70, side UT, it will correspond to side RQ. So 70 divided by 25. And then lastly, the short side divided by the short side. So in each case, we have the long side divided by the long side, the medium side divided by the medium side, and the short side divided by the short side. And when you do that arithmetic, you get a value of 2.8 for each one of these divisions. So 84 divided by 30, 70 divided by 25, and 42 divided by 15 are all 2.8. So since those ratios are equivalent, the triangles are similar, and now they're easier to name. T, U, V, and in the same order, Q, R, S. So triangle Q, R, S is similar, and the reason they're similar is by side, side, side. So those two triangles definitely are similar. All right, so that was triangle similarity criteria. You can find a little practice for that on page 260 and 261. Problems number 7 and 10 through 13 would be good ones to practice on that.